They said it was just another comet, a cold rock of ice and dust drifting through the void. But I saw the first images. And I knew right away, something about this one didn't fit. It wasn't just the way it moved. It was how it moved. Its path was too precise. Too intentional. Most comets wander through space like forgotten debris, but 3i Atlas sliced across the solar system in a line so straight it felt designed. Some astronomers quietly called it the third interstellar visitor. Others refused to even discuss it off record. And when the data started disappearing from public databases, that's when I knew I had to start digging. At first glance, Atlas looked normal, 10 kilometers across, covered in ice and metal-rich dust. But then the light readings started changing. Natural comets flicker as they spin. This one pulsed, steady, rhythmic, mechanical. The spectrographs showed traces of heavy elements, titanium, nickel, chromium, all in unnatural ratios. Those readings were deleted from the servers less than a day later. A friend at one of the observatories told me they'd been instructed to reroute all incoming Atlas data through a new noise filtering protocol. The result? Perfectly clean and completely empty data. When I asked him what that meant, he said, "It's like someone wiped out the heartbeat." A few independent astronomers noticed another strange detail. Atlas wasn't fading as it neared the sun, it was getting brighter. Comets normally lose mass, their tails dissolving into vapor. This one seemed to be feeding off the light, glowing more intensely the closer it got. For a brief moment, telescopes recorded a blue corona, not the usual white dust, but pure energy, shimmering with structured patterns. One frame even showed hexagonal symmetry across its coma. And then the feed went black. Officially, it was a calibration issue. Unofficially, everyone involved stopped answering messages. There's also something else. When the comet passed the orbit of Mars, several deep space antennas reported an electromagnetic surge. It lasted exactly 21 seconds, and every frequency below 200 MHz went silent. Engineers described it as the sky holding its breath. Later analysis revealed faint pulses hidden within the static, regular, repeating, too perfect to be random. The intervals matched the same pulse pattern Atlas emitted weeks earlier. As if it was calling back. Some researchers suggested resonance coupling, a synchronization between the object's internal frequency and our planet's magnetic field. That's just a theory, of course. But since that night, low-frequency receivers across multiple continents have been picking up a persistent hum. No one has managed to trace it. Or maybe no one wants to. Now, as Atlas swings past its perihelion, its brightness keeps increasing beyond any model prediction. Some even claim it's slowing down. If true, that breaks every rule of celestial mechanics we know. Could it be fragmenting? Maybe. Could it be maneuvering? No one dares to say it out loud. The public has already lost interest, the media moved on after the first few headlines. But in certain private circles, scientists are watching it like hawks, waiting for the next anomaly. A quiet rumor has begun spreading. That 3i Atlas is hollow. That its outer crust hides a dense metallic shell. That it might not be a comet at all. Here's what I think. If it truly came from beyond our system, it's older than our sun, older than Earth. And maybe it wasn't just wandering. Maybe it was sent. We've always looked at the stars, wondering if someone's out there watching us. But what if they already left something behind, not to contact us, but to observe how we react when we find it? Every few nights, I still tune my receiver to the same narrow frequency band. There's a faint pulse there, a steady, patient, almost alive. Maybe it's just background noise. Or maybe, for the first time in history, something from another world is finally listening back. And if that's true, then we're not alone. We never were. It started 3 nights after the pulse. At exactly 2:47 a.m., my receiver picked up a signal, a low, steady tone that rose and fell every 6 seconds. It wasn't random static. It was structured, like breathing through metal. I recorded the pattern, ran a frequency map, and froze. The waveform matched something in the Atlas telemetry files, a sequence of spikes hidden in its early tracking data. Someone, somewhere, had encoded the same rhythm. When I tried to upload the file to the data forum, the system locked me out. Account deleted. IP flagged. No reason given. Later that morning, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject: stop decoding. No text. Just one attachment, a screenshot of my own screen from the night before. That was the moment I realized someone was watching me watch the sky. Around the same time, 2 research stations, one in Chile, another in Iceland, reported mysterious equipment failures. Power fluctuations, corrupted backups, magnetic overloads. All within the same 20-minute window. The official explanation was solar interference. Except, the sun was quiet that night. I called a contact in Reykjavik who worked with deep space antennas. He told me off record that their magnetometer spiked at exactly the same frequency I'd recorded from Atlas. Then the call dropped. 2 days later, I noticed something strange online. Observatory webcams that once streamed live images of the sky had gone dark. All of them. A single banner replaced the feeds. Temporary maintenance, Mirrorgate protocol active. No one knew what that meant. I searched every archive, every forum. The phrase didn't exist before that day. A friend who worked at a university lab told me their internal systems had suddenly added a Mirrorgate filter to all incoming data streams. He said it scrambles anything above a certain signal threshold. When he tried to bypass it, the system rebooted itself. Twice. He whispered one last thing before hanging up. It's not filtering noise. It's filtering intent. That evening, I drove out to the coast with my receiver. Far from city lights, the signal was clearer, a heartbeat buried in the static. Every time I shifted the antenna east, toward the horizon, the tone grew stronger. Then it split into 2 pulses, running parallel like twin heartbeats. At the same time, I saw something, a flash low over the ocean, green and silver, like glass catching the moonlight. Too slow for a meteor, too high for a plane. The frequency surged, and for a second, my receiver went silent. Then a voice came through. Not words. Not language. Just rhythm. Short, long, short. When I checked the recorder afterward, the file was gone. Only the empty folder remained, labeled as Mirrorgate cache. I never created that directory. The next morning, something even stranger happened. Several weather satellites reported unidentified reflective anomalies off the North Atlantic. Small objects, less than 100 meters across, moving in loose formation. The data was later flagged as instrument error. But radar operators from Canada to Norway confirmed seeing them, metallic, symmetrical, faintly glowing. Each one following the exact trajectory of 3I Atlas. Was it fragmenting? Or was it deploying? That night, the signal returned, louder than before. Every pulse aligned perfectly with the rotation of the Earth, as if something up there was syncing with us. And then, buried deep within the static, I heard it again. 3 long. 2 short. 1 long. The same pattern since the beginning. But this time, a second sequence followed, Morse code. It spelled a word I'll never forget. Awake. I didn't sleep that night. Because if the signal is real, if the frequency is deliberate, then 3I Atlas isn't just passing through. It's talking to something. And maybe that something has already answered. The first reports came from northern observatories, strange reflections in the upper atmosphere. Pale arcs of light moving against the wind, visible only on infrared cameras. Officially, they were polar cloud distortions. But I'd seen the raw satellite footage. They weren't clouds. They were shadows moving under the aurora. The timing was perfect. Each glow matched the pulse pattern from Atlas. Every 21 hours. Never more. Never less. Like a machine checking its own heartbeat. The European Space Monitoring Network released a short statement. Minor telemetry inconsistencies due to magnetic flux variations. Then all their public data vanished overnight. I tried to access the archives through a private VPN, nothing. Everything redirected to one phrase. Access denied. Mirrorgate active. At first, I thought it was some kind of cybersecurity system. But then I noticed something strange. The Mirrorgate activation times matched every recorded frequency burst from Atlas. It wasn't protecting data. It was reacting to something. Around that same week, pilots flying over Greenland reported brief compass failures and luminous streaks beneath their aircraft. Civil aviation didn't log the events, but an anonymous pilot sent me a private note. For 5 seconds, all instruments froze. When they came back, we weren't where we should be. He swore he saw a dark arc in the sky, curved, metallic, almost transparent, before it vanished into the clouds. When I compared his coordinates to the trajectory of 3IR Atlas, they matched within a 2-degree margin. Coincidence? Maybe. But the same night, the magnetometers at 2 universities recorded a spike that mirrored the comet's own frequency. The pattern was unmistakable. Then, something even more disturbing happened. A Russian satellite, part of a classified observation network, suddenly deorbited, no warning, no malfunction report. Its last transmission contained 3 unreadable bursts of data before going silent. A technician later leaked the final line of the system log. It simply read, "Mirror detected." The next day, all mention of that satellite disappeared from every registry. No obituaries. No announcements. Just gone. I began to notice that each anomaly, every signal, every disappearance, was building toward something. Like pieces of a larger pattern only visible when viewed from afar. The hum in my receiver now carried a subtle modulation, as if someone had layered another signal beneath it. I filtered the waveform and found faint harmonics, reflections of the main tone, echoing milliseconds apart. That's when it hit me. It wasn't a single source. There were multiple, repeating the same message from different positions. As if the comet wasn't broadcasting to us, but through us. When I tried to share my findings online, every upload failed. The files would corrupt mid-transfer or vanish seconds after posting. Even screenshots blurred themselves, as if something inside the image erased the data. It sounds impossible, I know. But explain this. I sent one of the clean signals to a friend in Germany, an astrophysicist I've known for years. He confirmed the modulation looked deliberate, maybe binary. He promised to decode it. The next day, his phone went dark, his email deleted, his entire university network frozen for 12 hours. Official explanation? System upgrade. No logs. No backup. Meanwhile, the comet grew brighter again, far brighter than any prediction model. Amateur astronomers reported that the tail had split into multiple strands, twisting like filaments of light. Some said it looked like wires. Others swore they saw geometric patterns forming at the center, a hexagonal lattice pulsing like circuitry. Still, every official agency kept silent. Every press release used the same phrase. Non-anomalous interstellar object. Trajectory stable. But the numbers told a different story. The comet's velocity had dropped, slightly, but measurably. Almost as if it were braking. That night, I received another email. No text, just an attachment, a short audio file. I played it once. The same pulse. 3 long, 2 short, 1 long. Then silence. When I opened the spectrogram, I froze. The waveform outlined a perfect arc, identical to the reflection seen over Greenland. And inside that arc, faintly embedded, one word repeated over and over. Mirror. Now I can't shake the thought, maybe 3I Atlas isn't a visitor at all. Maybe it's a reflection of something that's already here. A system that's watching itself through us. The question is, what happens when the reflection starts moving on its own? It began with a blackout. Not local. Not regional. Global. At 2:11 Universal Time Coordinated, every major communication satellite above the Northern Hemisphere went offline. No warning. No countdown. Just static. Airports halted. Navigation failed. Even stock exchanges froze mid-transaction. For almost 8 minutes, the world fell into digital darkness. Then, all at once, the systems came back online, clean, perfectly synchronized, as if nothing had happened. But every clock, from London to Tokyo, showed the same error. -21 seconds. Governments called it a global timing desynchronization. But astrophysicists noticed something else. During those 8 minutes, the comet's reflected light curve doubled. Not gradually. Instantly. When the data returned, 3i Atlas was no longer where it should have been. Its position had shifted several thousand kilometers closer to Earth. And the new trajectory wasn't ballistic. It was guided. That same night, Mirrorgate went fully active. Servers across Europe and the US locked down simultaneously. Observatories were cut off from their own telescopes. Every public API returned the same message. System Integrity Protocol engaged. Manual override disabled. At the same time, the hum returned to my receiver, louder than ever, vibrating through the air like invisible thunder. Every electrical device in my apartment flickered in rhythm with the pulse. 3 long. 2 short. 1 long. Then, a pause. And a new sequence began, faster, sharper, coded like binary speech. I recorded it, slowed it down, and realized something terrifying. It wasn't random. It was language. Simple, direct, mechanical. It translated to transmission complete. Within hours, reports flooded in from all over the world. Strange auroras over cities that had never seen them before are Madrid, Cairo, Buenos Aires. Bands of green and violet light arcing across the sky, pulsing in synchronization with the comet signal. Phones recorded distorted echoes. Some said they heard voices in the static, human voices, repeating fragments of their own speech. One video, quickly deleted, showed something impossible. A faint hexagonal shape hovering high above the clouds, reflecting light downward like a mirror turned toward Earth. Seconds later, the footage was replaced by an official message. Do not disseminate unverified astronomical content. By morning, every major space agency released a joint statement. Comet 3i Atlas has fragmented and poses no threat to Earth. No images. No data. No evidence. Just words. But amateur astronomers saw otherwise. They reported that the object hadn't fragmented at all, it had stopped. Stationary. Suspended beyond the orbit of the Moon. Not moving away. Not falling toward us. Just waiting. The hum never stopped. Even with my receiver unplugged, I could still feel it, deep in my bones, beneath the noise of the city. Streetlights flickered in time with it. Power grids overloaded at exact intervals. It wasn't interference anymore. It was synchronization. And then, one night, everything went silent. No pulse. No light. Nothing. I thought it was over. Until my laptop, long disconnected, powered itself on. The screen glowed white, then black. One folder appeared on the desktop. Mirror return. Inside, a single text file. One sentence. Phase 2 acknowledged. And at that exact moment, my reflection on the screen, just a faint outline in the dark, blinked. But I didn't. They'll say it was all coincidence. That 3i Atlas was just ice and rock. That the signals were interference, the lights were weather, the silence just a glitch. Maybe they're right. Or maybe something out there learned how to use our systems, our satellites, our eyes, our reflections, to talk to us in a language we weren't meant to understand. Either way, the comet's gone now. At least, That's what they say. But when I close my eyes at night, I can still hear the pulse. Steady. Patient. Like something listening back. And if you ever tune into 1420 MHz, and you hear it too, don't answer. Because the moment you do, it might start listening through you.